hollow basin known as Cova da Iria. The land belonged to Lucia's parents and was littered with olive trees and patches of evergreen. The grass grew tall and made excellent hay, and the soil yielded potatoes, cabbage, and corn. Rows of simple stone walls delineated the fields. Most had crumbled, for which Lucia was grateful, as it allowed the sheep to graze at will. Her task was to tend the family flock. Jacinta and Francisco were likewise charged by their parents, and they'd spent many days over the past few years in the fields, sometimes playing, sometimes praying, sometimes listening to Francisco work his fife. But all that had changed 2 months ago, when the apparition first appeared. Ever since, they'd been pounded with unceasing questions and scoffed at by non-believers. Lucia's mother had even taken her to the parish priest, commanding her to say it was all a lie. The priest had listened to what she'd said and stated it was not possible that Our Lady had descended from heaven simply to say that the rosary should be recited every day. Lucia's only solace came when she was alone, able then to weep freely for both herself and the world. The sky dimmed, and umbrellas used by the crowd for shade started to close. Lucia stood and yelled, "Take off your hats, for I see Our Lady." The men immediately obeyed, some crossing themselves as if to be forgiven for their rude behavior. She turned back to the vision and knelt. "Você meche que me quere?" she asked. "What do you want of me?" "Do not offend the Lord our God any more, because he is already much offended. I want you to come here on the 13th day of the coming month, and to continue to say 5 decades of the Rosary every day in honor of Our Lady of the Rosary, to obtain the peace of the world and the end of the war, for she alone will be able to help." Lucia stared hard at the lady. The form was transparent, in varied hues of yellow, white, and blue. The face was beautiful, but strangely shaded in sorrow. A dress fell to her ankles. A veil covered her head. A rosary resembling pearls intertwined folded hands. The voice was gentle and pleasant, never rising or lowering, a soothing constant, like the breeze that continued to sweep over the crowd. Lucia mustered her courage and said, "I wish to ask you to tell us who you are, and to perform a miracle so that everyone will believe that you have appeared to us. Continue to come here every month on this day. In October I will tell you who I am and what I wish, and I will perform a miracle that everyone will have to believe." Over the past month, Lucia had thought about what to say. Many had petitioned her with requests concerning loved ones and those too sick to speak for themselves. One in particular came to mind. "Can you cure Maria Carrera's crippled son?" "I will not cure him, but I shall provide him a means of livelihood, provided he says the Rosary every day." She thought it strange that a Lady of Heaven would attach conditions to mercy, but she understood the need for devotion. The parish priest always proclaimed such worship as the only means to gain God's grace. "Sacrifice yourself for sinners," the lady said, "and say many times, especially when you make some sacrifice, 'O Jesus, it is for your love, for the conversion of sinners, and in reparation for the sins committed against the Immaculate Heart of Mary.'" The lady opened her clasped hands and spread her arms. A penetrating radiance poured forth and bathed Lucia in a warmth much like that of a winter sun on a cool day. She embraced the feeling, then saw that the radiance did not stop at her and her 2 cousins. Instead, it passed through the earth, and the ground opened. This was new and different, and it frightened her.